Well, I want to full board. Make motion to approve everyone first. Name of the report. For community bank is negative 700. The homeowners pieces, the community bank. Okay. The email goes out to the space for this personal engineer. Okay. You're welcome. No. And then my second question would be line 2100 for liabilities negative 2047. I agree. Yeah. World of my real first question was the first one, and then I was like, okay, and the second question was really wrong. It's definitely not. No, yeah, and I know you told us this one. What do you think we bring back one? So we pull it down from that, or we don't, okay. Yeah, we and where does it physically reside? Or is it- what's it called? Minimarket, okay.
Hold on.
Yeah. 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 Like HRA funds from previous years.
I'm not sure if that's what makes up all of that, because that number has pre-existed me,
Yeah.
but part of it.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I don't think it was just the.
No, I don't
Right.
think, no, but I mean, it does have some of that money in there too.
So any other questions? All right. Move on to profit and loss. Do you have any like subscriptions that popped up for online services?
Um. For online services, we have Adobe, and, what are the other ones that come?
Adobe we're doing monthly or annual?
Adobe is monthly.
Was that Acrobat?
Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So that's $2 a month. And then there's something that we pay as a lump sum. I think GoPro paid as a lump sum. And that just came up. I think that was like 15.
Now, what is GoPro for? The camera?
Yeah,
Yeah. Or like the eggs.
yeah, we use it to live stream things and can't do those.
Uh-huh. Gotcha.
You can't just buy the camera.
A question about postage and shipping.
Yes.
I mean, since courier is the bulk of our shipping, why is it still postage and shipping so high? What are we doing?
We get interlibrary loans that aren't coming from in-state, or there are some libraries in the state that still don't have the courier because they can't afford it for what. There's a lot of places that can afford it that the courier won't go to. Like Grand Isle and Alberg, they are too far north.
So are we paying to have books sent here for us or to them?
No, we pay to return them to them. They pay to send them here. We pay to return them. So, or, if they request it from us, but we are, one of the caveats, one of the, is that you agree to sign, when you sign the courier form, that is that you are not allowed, to get the grant money, you're not allowed to deny requests from non-courier libraries.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
my next question would be, so what would you say the percentage is? How frequently do you get in books that need to be?
Probably like 5-10%. It depends on what's being requested. We have a couple reading things that are only, somebody today, Ellis just told me that the person requested a book that only one library in the entire country has on its shelf. And unfortunately, that library said no, so we're not going to pay for that book. But, yeah, I mean,
So
he also requested were available in country. And did get,
How much are we getting for the grant again?
um,
Year per month?
that per year we get, it was just on the balance sheet. It is 683.8.
And then how much are we spending monthly since we agreed to be shipping back and forth? Like, are we better off to not take the grant and say no to other libraries?
No.
No.
No, I mean, we're still gonna end up shipping books regardless, because our patrons are still gonna ask for books that are available.
At those courier.
So, in the
Sorry,
grand,
no, that's fine.
we actually keep statistics on what our interlibrary loan, how many we do, or in state, and how many, items that we mail in state. And, I mean, I could show you, since we started the career, I have every single form, I've saved them. And in the average month, we send maybe 5 books to, a library in state that doesn't have the courier. We mail maybe 5.
And out of state?
And we don't have to keep statistics on out of state, so I don't.
Does it happen very often or?
It happens more often than you would think, because
Really?
a lot of people who are requesting stuff that comes from like the Boston Public Library, or New York Public Library,
What is it that we have that they don't? That's my question.
well, no, they're not requesting it from us. Our patrons are requesting it from them. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
So,
mhm.
it's, I'd say, we pay very little to send to libraries in state, so it wouldn't be worthwhile to not accept.
Okay, there it is.
And when our patrons request something from out of the air, out of state, we're not paying when it comes in, but we have to pay to get it back to them.
Yes, exactly.
Is that a lot?
I mean, it's more than the in-state. I'd say maybe,
Going rate is from the post office.
yeah. I mean, I could bring up
Right.
my budget. So I keep a separate budget spreadsheet that I individually put every receipt into for stuff like that, for postage and, just trying to remember where it is. It's sharing folder, so Kendrick can access it, and it's here. So, if you look up on the screen, the postage category is right there.
Yep.
And you'll see there, I don't keep track of what is going in state versus out of state. Something's wrong here. Oops, sorry. But you'll see the courier is really the main expense. For example, in July of last year, we mailed, it looks like probably 4 books out. So that's,
Yep.
$20-ish.
Yeah.
It depends on the month, depends on.
Do you feel like everything is still working as
I
it
think-
should?
Yeah.
And
I think this is
financially, we're doing okay?
best possible manner of handling postage. The courier is definitely worth its weight in gold. We would be bankrupt if we were trying to mail every single book that we're getting.
And how many books are going in and out then per month about?
That I can definitely tell you. Let me
On average?
bring up my handy dandy.
Oh. Got that all backed up, right?
I think it's this, oh, it's all in the cloud. So next month I was planning on bringing in, this spreadsheet and showing you guys what, the statistics looked like for the end of the year.
Hmm.
And we could compare it to previous years. But you'll see that, down here, we keep, forgive me for the month of November, my
Okay.
computer ate that month.
Yeah.
But I will put it all back in again, and I have it, I just haven't put it back in. But you'll see we've so far this year, we have requested 491 books and we have sent 424
Oh, wow.
plus
reasonable
whatever
balance.
happened in November.
That's pretty equal. I mean,
Yeah,
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 um,
that's incredible.
it's a really, that to me reflects that even though we are requesting a lot of other books, we also have a lot of books here that other people
Oh,
want. So it means we have a good collection.
Yeah.
If it was really wildly out of whack, it would be a problem.
Yes.
The fact that
Now,
it's
you have,
pretty
you have no way of knowing whether those are just that the requesting library or us going in their direction, simply because we don't have an extra copy at that point in time that somebody wants, or is it something that's simply not in our collection?
99% of the time it's something we don't have in our
We don't have,
collection. Every
otherwise,
once in a
otherwise
while-
people will wait for it.
Yeah, we also do request book club sets. So like our library book club, we get copies a month of every book. The book to movie club, we request 5 copies of that book. We request copies for the overbooked club. So anything like that could be multiple copies of one book. We joined that book club kit thing to try to make that price a little lower too. It's going okay.
Yeah.
We've probably, earned as much as we spent on that. So, but yeah, I think we're doing a pretty good job of having, and a lot of the times if somebody requests a book that from interlibrary loan that is brand new, we will just buy it.
Mhm.
If it has value,
Yeah.
there's somebody asked me to buy a whole bunch of his ebooks. I was like, no, I'm not buying your ebooks, sir. But like somebody just yesterday asked me for a brand new book and I was like, oh, that sounds pretty interesting. Let's add it to the collection. And then other people have the choice to take it out afterwards. Great. So it balances,
Yeah.
Do we have an active adopt a book program?
We do an adopt a book program in November/December, like the end of November, beginning of December.
We should, as your way to get tax deductible, Christmas gifts.
Yes, last year was very much not successful.
Really?
Yeah. The year before it was mildly successful. Which doesn't make sense to me because the year before I spent a lot of time
Yeah.
getting it all online
Yeah.
and like on the
Yeah.
Square store.
Yeah.
You got a nice selection of books out there too.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah, all
so.
set up on that table. Cool.
Sending you some books that I saw. It was like an anthropology store and I was like, these look great.
Okay.
Yeah, one was like decorating, a couple more cookbooks.
Yeah. Yeah, I love good nonfiction.
Not
stuff.
necessary, just thought worth
Yeah.
looking at.
I love
Everyone
nonfiction stuff.
okay with the profit and loss sheet?
Yep.
Yep. All right, let's move on to budget versus actual.
The one that we always are like,
Yeah.
This one's my favorite.
Carol.
Because then it went to like the percent remaining.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
confusing.
Oh,
Right? Because the percent
Oh,
remaining
absolutely.
is in
Absolutely.
the wrong spot.
The line on the,
You put
the
the
line
line-
went on the wrong side of the
It threw me off and then I was like, oh, and then I was like,
Yeah.
well, I don't even know why I'm looking at the monthly one.
oh, okay.
But I didn't even recognize that.
I see that. It should be right here.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You know what? I think I can. No. Can't just draw a line.
I mean, you can't.
Adobe.
I
God.
have a question. it's sort of in this category, the hoopla. Are we set at a certain amount monthly that we're not going to
Yes.
go over, which is,
we said it's $500.
Okay.
So,
Or is it 7?
it's
Five.
6 checkouts per person, because that was the minimum number that
Yeah.
Hoopla would allow. We actually, I think we
Yeah,
were
how's
just
it
talking
going?
about this last month. Hoopla, I can show you on my handy dandy budget. Uh, somewhere on here is Hoopla. Let me just find it. It's very long. Hoopla. So, despite the fact that we had that massive bill from September,
Yeah.
we had allocated I had allocated $6,000 for Hoopla for the year based on previous usage. And after all of that, we came in only negative $200. So you'll notice that the invoices since that terrible September and when we got everything all squared away, it's been we're averaging below $500
In the budget.
every month. So next year, I think we should be on track for
And
it's
it-
under
they-
budget.
and it's set, like it won't let it go
It
over
will
that.
not
it'll
let
cut
us
it
spend
off.
more than $500 a month.
Right.
And in fact, if people request too many books in one day, it's just like, no, you have to wait until tomorrow.
Yeah,
Because I think the way it works is not $500 for the month. It's like,
well, that sounds fair.
500 divided by 30. And
Have we hit that limit, Billy? Do we know?
I
little bit
have. Yeah.
You have.
No, I have experienced it, so
Okay.
no. And I've had other people say to me that they tried to borrow something and it was like, no, come back tomorrow. So, I mean, it
So-
doesn't really affect much. And I would be perfectly happy to keep it at $500 a month. I think that's a great way to set. I think maybe, in July, we should think about, bumping up the number that people can check out.
That's what I was
So,
gonna say. It's maybe next month, once we hit
Yeah.
that new financial year, we can talk about.
What do we
increasing
have
that.
it budgeted for the following year?
It's, the same.
So,
I mean, I haven't done this yet and we
Yeah.
can change it. We have more money in our materials account for our budget line item for materials. So we could bump it up to $7,000 for the year if we wanted to, or we could leave it the same, which I would be inclined to do, and just give people the option to check out like 7 or 8 books.
Yeah, that makes sense.
although maybe like more people will start using it and find out about it, so then you want to spread it out still.
Yeah.
right?
I mean, if we see that there's a lot of things,
Bumping it up by 1 to 7.
yeah,
Might not
we're,
be too bad. Yeah.
we're never gonna exceed $500 a month, regardless of how many we let people. So I can look at it and see if 3 people checked out 7 and then they used all the money and, all the other people were only allowed to use 3, I can see that.
Mm.
So, if it becomes problematic, then we can change it, but I don't see, I know the people who use it the most and there are patrons, there are people who use the library and are involved in the library and they just seem to, that's the way they read, is listening to audiobooks.
Right.
So it's mostly audiobooks. It's not like movies or whatever. So,
I guess we'll watch it and talk about it next month.
No, if it's mostly audiobooks, wasn't the new? I've never.
Blackstone.
Blackstone,
Blackstone,
thank you.
yeah,
It's supposed to.
I'm not
Yeah.
happy with Blackstone.
Oh, is that right?
At all,
Oh.
and I will not be renewing the contract with them
It's
next year.
not the kind of availability.
There's nothing new.
Their
And if
library.
they're not pulling their part of
catalog
the
is,
bargain, I mean, maybe they could give us some of our money back.
Yeah,
Because
we can look at the
if
contract.
they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing and they said, oh, you sign up this and it's gonna be new stuff all the time.
Yeah.
It's not, no
The
one's using
problem
it.
is They put new stuff on the app, but it's not new books. It's
Hmm.
new.
It's new stuff.
It's like a used car.
New to you. It's new to you, yeah.
So, unfortunately,
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of how.
Because that's
Oh.
expensive.
not-
Okay, they don't necessarily say new books, they're saying additions to the collection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because when I,
6 more Sherlock Holmes, right?
How are we on our budget with the Hoopla plus the Blackstone?
Well, Blackstone is just,
Flat rate.
yeah, it was a flat rate, so we paid. We're good, we're paid through till November. So,
And how's the usage of it?
it, it's not terrible. So Blackstone, we had 9 in May.
So if we looked at what our contract fee was for Blackstone
Mhm.
and the number of takeouts.
Yeah.
And we said, if we had to pay for all of those in Hoopla, how much more would we have had to pay Hoopla?
Okay, so we are averaging 6 a month.
Okay.
So if you, 6 times 12 and then
Uh,
divide 2,000 by 72.
Right,
Is anybody else better at
30.
math than me?
Yeah.
$30 a month.
2072 is 27.78 cents.
So I actually don't think that $27 a month is ridiculous.
for-
I don't think that's awful,
Okay.
for 6.
Yeah.
Wait a second. I got very little sleep.
Mm.
You're doing,
So the
So-
total
average
is 42, right?
you're doing an average of 6 a month,
So that
About
means
the
it's
total.
$27 a
costing us,
title,
how much?
which is
It's
a lot of money.
It's
Yeah.
$2,000 for
Yeah.
a year, right? Yeah, that
Yeah. Okay, when you look at it that way,
166 a month to have it.
yeah,
Hmm.
that it's,
Okay. So that's, and if we assume that all of those would have been available on Hoopla,
most of the time they are, or on Palace.
so
and
the
Palace is free.
incremental Hoopla costs would be probably significantly less than that 166
Yeah.
a month.
I would rather
Yeah.
put $2,000 into, $2,000 more into Hoopla
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah. Okay.
And get rid of Blackstone.
Okay.
And they
Yep.
made it sound like you were
Yeah,
gonna
I mean, it
be.
sounded like
Yeah.
such a good deal.
Yeah.
I did. So
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed, but
Yeah.
you try something new
Yeah.
and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
And as far as like user friendliness, stuff like that too.
The Blackstone, I don't think it's unfriendly. It's just not as integrate. Like Hoopla, I have an app in my car on my car screen
Hmm.
and I can hit the Hoopla app. I love that.
Hopefully only for audio.
But yeah. I've tried. It won't let you watch video
Oh.
while you're driving. But yeah.
Blackstone app isn't that great. I'm not a fan of it.
What?
I said I'm not a fan of using the Blackstone app as far as the user interface.
No,
Not that great.
I did ask if Blackstone was going to be making an
Updating.
app
Yeah.
for like your car or what mine is like Android Auto.
Yeah.
And they don't seem to have a date.
Hmm.
So.
Hmm.
But yeah, and neither does Palace, which is sad. But Palace is free, so I can't complain too much.
Okay. I'm gonna go back to the, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was good information.
So
Carol, are you gonna be in here next week? Well,
Next week,
next week,
could be.
the 16th? Maybe what we could do, if we can work out a time that works for you, we could try to do this budget, putting the budgeted pieces into the time slots that would be meaningful, so that when we look at this budget versus actual, and that would require connecting with Ally too. When the bills come in for things. So if we can together work out something.
Yeah.
See what we can do.
Yeah, we'll look at calendars at
Yep.
the meeting and
Yeah.
see what we come up with.
Because you're right, this is Diane, this is, it's not meaningful information, even if we could understand it better, because the budget line for any given month is a starting point of a meaningless number. It was just the year spread, and that's not the way expenses come in. So a lot of things are going to be off by 100% every month, and then 1,000% in the other direction in one month.
Right.
Yeah.
So the yearly is what we look.
Yeah,
at
the
now.
yearly, how do we, a year to date, again, if we've got our budget numbers going into reasonable places, whether it's monthly, whether it's quarterly, then at least a year to date says, well, we thought by this point this year, we'd be here and we're here.
Yeah.
It's more visible. I mean, that's what I want to try to do is work to see if we can do. I know that QuickBook has the capability. It's tedious to do it and it's very manual to do it. You've got to say, don't take this number and spread it. Take this number, put this much of it here, this much of it here, this much of it here. Because we know this comes in twice a year, or this comes in once a year. But once we do that once, it's pretty easy to replicate in successive years. And we know when those things generally come in.
Yeah, and I think it'll be easier for all of us because then it'll be a lot less questions
Oh, yeah.
when it comes to
Yeah.
the financials.
And the questions that'll be there will make sense.
Yeah,
Right
yeah,
now, we're saying, well, what is this? Well, this
Yeah.
is just because the budget actual doesn't work.
yeah. And like that's a lot of the questions I have are stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
why is it this then? And why was it different the month before?
Yep.
And like, like there's once you mentioned that there was that, that the payroll hadn't been run,
Mhm.
I quickly looked back in the previous months for another question that I had. And I was like, okay, all right, I can see where, I kind of answered my own
Yeah.
question in my head. But yeah, I think having something like that where there was a breakdown of when certain things hit,
Mm.
even just like, payrolls on, the first and the fourth, or the first and the third rather. And then, having just some sort of breakdown as well of, like when Hoopla goes through, or like when our big ticket items like that go through. That way we just have an idea.
The only other thing that could help with that some is if you delayed the financials by one extra month so that everything is totally finalized. So what you're looking at, like today, if you were looking at April instead of May, it would have, everything would have time to settle. But then it just means that you're waiting an extra,
Yeah.
to look
Yeah.
at. So
Yeah.
you'd still have your receipts and stuff to look at your physical, what went out,
Yeah.
but by looking at your financials, that's the only other way, other than what Roger's
Yeah.
talking about, that would get those things to settle out so you wouldn't have those fluctuating numbers caught in the middle of a report.
I feel like,
If we did that with situation where we had with Hoopla where we saw like, hey, this number's a lot higher than it would have been
Yeah.
delayed in a whole month.
yeah,
That would have been a
exactly.
whole nother
Right.
month of
Yeah.
it being used.
Then I feel like it also throws off everything else
You
as
would
well.
see the receipts. So if everybody's looking at like the purple
Yeah, the
folder
ledger.
and seeing the things there, but yeah, you wouldn't see the long range picture until you looked at the budget versus the actual.
Yeah.
And I also think it would throw off, because we do the month previous for director's report and the month previous for the youth librarian report, and then it would be like 2 months previous, and it would be like,
Yeah. I think we can make this work.
yeah,
Yeah,
Oh.
what you have here is not inaccurate data, it's just a little bit funhouse mirror.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
there, but it's
Get it?
a little distorted because of
Yeah.
that shift. So yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
You can put it in.
I don't think any of us are particularly dumb here. And I think we're all really smart people. I think if we just had an idea of when things are hitting, we'd be able to kind of logically process that and be like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
that's
and if
making
you
the
can
little
get
bit
quick steps to fall in line with that.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
think that will answer a lot of the
Yeah.
questions.
100%.
Yep.
Well, with all that in mind, is there anything that pops out to anybody that you want to look over?
That's that really annoying unapplied cash bill payment expense line that keeps popping up every now and then.
And then there's that, how is it that miscellaneous and coffee bar expense are exactly the same amount to the penny? That's important stuff.
So the,
Put $8.33 in there.
sorry, I don't really, I have to look at it on my phone and looking at it here. So what, I guess the question is like, what are we negative in,
So we're over on postage. We knew that was going to happen.
And you're probably gonna have another hit on that next month. Because I think our little roll of stamps is gonna die next month.
I have, sheets of $1, 1 cent.
These are 1 cent stamps.
Just
Oh, good. No, I've been putting stamps in the envelopes when I sign the checks and everything, not 1 cent stamps, sorry. You're on your own for the.
just start counting. I'm just in now 60 some month.
On the back, on the edges.
To pay our bill. The solution. Um.
Hand delivered, hand delivered.
Trade those in at the post office?
What?
Can you trade those in at the post office?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I like the people at the.
So
post
it's
office.
the,
I do too.
it's the shipping of the books that we,
Yeah, that,
so how much until the new,
we have, we start the new fiscal year on July 1st.
okay,
So we have
20
20
days.
more days.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I want to catch up with two of you
Yeah.
to try to get this so that we're starting next year with a budget versus actual that is meaningful to us.
We're a little bit over on programs that will go up next month because we have some fees we have to pay.
Disability
you
insurance.
stretch that program, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's bring the kids from Home Depot.
The copier expense went up because we had that one piece of equipment break.
Yep.
Um,
You knew that though.
What's the other sheet that was up above that when you,
oh, okay.
there was some negatives there too?
Yeah,
Furnishing service, is that the printer? That you're saying?
I'm sorry,
No, that's under copyright. expense.
Equipment, furniture.
oh, yeah, that's, stuff. We, it's all manner of things. We bought the new chairs, the new, desk, the, I mean, anything that isn't really an office supply goes under that.
Books and material.
Books and materials is under. Yeah, so, like office supplies and
Okay,
furnishings was equipment.
library supplies and cataloging.
Yeah.
So these things that are all. How are we looking for like the next year? Like, did that?
I
any of
think we
these
spent a
still-
lot of money this past year on things that were like one-time costs, like the new chairs. We're not gonna buy new chairs again.
And did we, I can't even remember the budget that we put together, like, how does it look? So comparing it to like what it is actually at the end of the year, like, did we make changes that we needed to?
I think
So we increased book of materials, we increased
Thank you.
we increased postage,
postage, and
uh,
the third main one was payroll was.
Yeah.
Because raises, no.
Yep.
Those were the,
Medical, I would think.
yeah, the medical was
Sure.
raised.
Because,
Um,
yeah.
yep. Yeah, so the medical payroll and the book materials were the top three that we had increases, and that was like 70% of the total increase was those three items, I think.
I think we probably could have gone up a little bit more on office supplies, but hopefully, we bought a bunch of like bookends and display easels and stuff. And so now we have those and
So we're just, or like looking at this, I guess, just, looking forward, we'll be aware of. how much
Yeah.
we're doing on certain things and
Yeah.
try not to.
We shouldn't, like she said, we shouldn't need to buy those one-offs again.
yeah, there were things here that just
Yeah,
were
like
added.
we needed
Even like-
stuff.
like-
Yeah.
So you got that.
Yeah.
Fencing that you guys did for the front, so the kids can play out there, right?
The fencing.
Yeah, we're not gonna have to do that again.
Yeah. Thank God. That was annoying. Tractor Supply store is the worst. Yeah, we won't have to do that again. We did a ton of work on the front of the front entrance last summer. And so if I never have to buy another bag of gravel, I'll be very happy. So, yeah, we did everything, I think, as well as we could for what we paid for it. Would I go back again and try to get somebody who has a discount at Home Depot to help out with it next time? But,
Do we have an account at DubDub?
we do.
Right.
We do.
We
And
get
it's
discount- do we-
it's a tax exempt and we get a discount.
Good. That's
for
what they do for the Rotary too.
for being municipal. So, we do, I go there when I,
Yep.
need most things. you know, it's a balance of trying to save money and trying to shop local
Mhm.
too.
Yep.
You know, go to Boyd Farm for the soil. They're not the cheapest, but
You should buy it at Home Depot when it's on sale. It's so
Yeah.
cheap. I bought it. I bought a whole pallet, 2 pallets.
oh, I'll talk to you later on. I need some potting soil.
New dirt at W&W was $4.50. That's cheaper.
Yeah,
Hopefully that.
yes, we got very good quality dirt and compost.
To ask us too, when you're looking for something, like
Yeah.
we might have resources and.
The town did pitch in some dirt for the beds, the new garden beds.
Appreciate that. That's
Their
great.
dirt is town dirt's not good. So
The bottom.
bottom has town dirt. And then we have compost and good potting soil. So yeah, we did have a lot of one-time expenses last year that will hopefully make everything a lot better this year and can reuse them.
Okay.
We good on budget versus actual?
Yep, no, I think so.
All right. Let's see. Do you want to move on to Kinder's report?
Okay, you want me to go there?
I go get her.
Okay.
Akron.
Watch my mass quantity, the cords. Yeah.
What the hell? Why doesn't your director's report mean anything to me? There we go.
It's gonna say. Sure. It's a real thing.
They opened up in Chinese. I don't know why. I don't ask questions.
Computer wants you to learn a new language.
Right? I wish I was good at learning new.
I tried to learn Chinese. I didn't get too far.
That wasn't you.
It was,
What?
it was on.
Do you want the so you told me she was I went to the bathroom.
I don't think your mom.
Considering the last Welcome to the Kinder Show. All right. So, did everybody get this? Because I got a thing that said it came back.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it. You got it. You got it. You must have been that.
You have to send it to my personal account right now.
Okay.
I'm not sure the other things are coming through.
That's okay. I told you pretty much everything that's in it last night when we chatted.
Yeah.
Well, it was
Yeah, I think I never get it from you, actually. Yep. I'm the one.
Before you leave, I'm gonna make sure I have the right email address.
Yep.
My thing it suggests lots of different email addresses for everybody.
I get it.
Okay, so we finished up our fair program, which was our reoccurring scheduled sign up Friday program. It definitely tapered out at the end, with everybody getting busy on Fridays, but I did send out to every person who had signed a kid up a survey, and I got a few responses back. And everyone did think that Fridays was really the best day to have it on, so that was good. And that the themed weeks were good, so they kind of knew what to expect, but like it was okay that they didn't know exactly what the project was going to be was good. And everybody who responded had good things to say in terms of their kids really enjoyed it. So yay, we're gonna keep tweaking and figuring that out. And next year, I will again see if Laughter wants to collaborate. But it's just tricky with the school. They have a lot of people wearing multiple hats, and they weren't really in a position to do any collaboration this year. Yes, Shane. We're gonna go ahead. We'll go ahead. The bug catcher is right there. In the blue thing. That can be your pet. Looking for Explorers Club, we finished up. It continued to have consistent attendance and the same little crew. And so what we're gonna do for the summer is we're gonna get back at it with having the 6 weeks be, it's gonna continue to be on Friday mornings.
Last summer we had moved to Mondays. But then we had to move back to Fridays because of, I don't remember exactly. It had to do with yoga, but then we also have yoga on Fridays. So I'm not exactly sure why I moved it back to Fridays. Fridays does work best for everyone.
Wasn't the school library visits?
That's exactly what it was. Thank you. I started having school library visit.
Did they come in the summertime? Like, is it their attendance in the summer or singing? Or-
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
The hardest part was I tried my best to get it out to people who were visiting the area. Because they would typically come like just after it ended, like someone who was up for like a long weekend or a week and their
Just
littlest
missed it.
one had been, yeah, exactly. And then I'd be like, oh, and they're like, well, we're not coming back. So I tried my best. I emailed it out to some of the condo association, emailed it out to some of the people I know that have Airbnbs. And I posted about it in some of the Facebook groups that are like second homeowner Facebook groups. But it was a little tricky. But the summer one, I'm hoping will start to kind of build my group a little bit further because we're going to do all 6 weeks. We're going to have a guest reader at each one. And I tried to think outside the box. I already have a farmer confirmed, a botanist, an artist, and someone who works at the mover. So we're tying it into color with like, obviously farmers have lots of colorful tools like John Deere tractors and they work with plants and animals who have lots of different colors. He's a climber.
The climber.
Oh,
Yeah.
your naming skills are straight out the wild crap. And then the botanist, obviously plants, lots of colors, talking about pollinators, which also ties back into our summer reading programs kickoff. The artist is a watercolor artist and I think also a fiber artist. So again, lots of color. And the mover representative, bit of a stretch, but the buses are colored and also the roofs have colors. So I was trying to think just outside of like the colors that preschoolers might automatically think of to try and really both spread the word out that it exists, because I've been emailing people asking if they want to be a guest reader. And then also, so hopefully getting the word out to the local community about the program. So if they have grandkids or nieces and nephews this summer, but also then maybe like they'll say like to their neighbor, like, hey, I'm going to be a guest reader at this. And so, a little grassroots advertising that way. But also I'm going to hopefully get soon the last 2 weeks firmed up. And then I can put out a thing that says which type of guest reader we'll have each week. So that'll make it super fun.
Yeah, that's
Some
great.
of the people I'm waiting to hear back from is a martial arts instructor because their belts have colors. A hairdresser because they can make your hair colorful, and a firefighter. As red. I only have 2 more spots that aren't claimed. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. So that's kind of the direction I'm going with. Again, trying to create more interest and find people in the community to get the word out that this exists.
If you tried this over at Flatbread, pizza always gets kids excited.
Yeah, pizza is colorful.
So
I emailed a few people that I didn't hear back from, but I don't think pizza was fun.
I'm just curious. So that's for the Library Explorers Club?
Yes, our
Is-
0 to 5. So it's a guest reader coming in to read stories to the
Okay.
kids. And so like the mover person I'm imagining will read like Don't Let the Pigeon.
Obviously, can it be open to other ages if they want to come or not?
They can, but most won't really enjoy themselves
Okay.
because it's just story time. It's like a very it's not even a traditional story time
Yeah.
because it's for the 0 to 5 group and we
Gotcha.
mostly get 0 to 2 and a half.
Mhm.
So it's a really
A lot of
Big.
crawling around.
a lot of crawling around. Yeah, exactly. A lot of crawling around. There's a lot of like boo and and looking at the pictures and just saying, what does a cat say? So I mean, they could come. I don't think they'll enjoy those, but they could come and volunteer, and then I would sign them jobs. Hey, there was another one over by Mr. Richard's
there.
foot. Get it. You're hired. Don't lose that one though. Only open it a little bit. Maybe go put that one in the.
We'll keep an eye on this
Can
one.
you get the bug container that's up on the windowsill?
Oh, now we're going crazy.
Okay, come on, let's go get it. It can, I use it to catch spiders all the time. That's my
There you
handiest
go.
tool here at the library. We had the author visit on half a day. The author was a human, but the focus was Virgil, the therapy dog.
Wow.
Abigail was very nice and very understanding that she was not the star of the show, despite being the actual author. I got tons of positive feedback. Coral was one of our kids that came in red with the dogs. The kids made pictures for the dogs. We built towers to see if we could make the tower taller than the dog when he was sitting up, longer than the dog when he was laying down. Virgil was the most amazing. I also snuggled Virgil pretty aggressively, and he was very chill about it. Unfortunately, they don't live close enough that they can be a reoccurring visit, but I'm still on the lookout for somebody who can do that. I know of a few dogs locally that are starting to be trained up, and I have passed along the program that Abigail and Virgil work for, not for, the program they work with, they partner with, that allows them to do visits and have the insurance of that organization cover those visits. I want to say it's ATP, and I can't remember what it. Association of Therapy. I'm not sure, but I passed along that information so that once their dogs are ready to be therapy dogs, they can get credentialed and through them. But I've also
It's
connected.
right here. It's in your right feet.
Yes, it's getting Miss Laura with them, and they've blasted out to their listserv saying the Dover Free Library in Dover, Vermont is looking for someone who's willing to do business, but we haven't gotten any bites. So hopefully we can get that going because it was a really big hit. Everyone loves dogs. It was partnering with someone else. Cool. Oh, yeah, just keep trying. Don't give up. Never give up.
It's over there.
Um,
It's going under the table.
It's like a low effort program, for lack of a better way to describe it. Like I don't have to do a ton. The trainer handles the dogs,
Right over here.
obviously. And
Oh, here
I
it comes.
basically just
Here it comes.
typing the kids up and helping them.
Coming this way.
I like that the whole meeting turned into helping Amelia catch the ant. So hopefully we can find that. And then the other thing that's oh yeah,
For that, my sister
Whoop.
is doing
He
a
slipped out. There you go. You got him.
Carolina up to Vermont tour with her therapy dog.
yeah.
Yep, you got him.
So,
Good job.
yeah.
Here.
So I told her,
I assume she'll be visiting.
oh, she will.
Yes.
So I told her, let me know the
Yes.
date
Yeah.
and I will let you know.
That's
Mission accomplished.
yeah. I mean, Virgil's great, and Abigail said she had such a great time, and she wished that this was a more like easily to get. She's in Putney, so just a lot of their Putney, or she might be in Guilford. Their visits tend to be Brattleboro and Putney, so she just felt like committing to here was just too much for her. You got to respect somebody who knows their own boundaries. So then we got summer reading. Charging straight ahead. The tomorrow, Thursday. We're only on Tuesday, guys. I know you're all were confused. Thursday is field day, and so I'll be at field day, fielding in the morning, and then the Cliff grant that we assisted with them getting wraps up. So they're having an author visit, and part of the author visit presentation is me having some time to talk about summer reading, but also I'm currently taking up all of the YA section with my banner and a tape. We're going to make a banner, and the banner we will hold in the Blueberry Parade. And it says Color Our World and a masking taping, kind of like, the 2020 mosaic wall trend, that kind of vibe. And then I'm going to bring a ton of paint, and each kid will get a chance to fill in a little bit of it. And then I'll pull up the masking tape, but it'll still say Color Our World, and it'll have the lines. And then if they want to color in the lines with fabric markers at another project down the line, we can always do that. So that's kind of our like collaborative craft buy-in / get the kids busy for a few moments so I can tell the parents about that part of it. Also the community barbecue. So parents will be there more than usual. So we'll have a lot more parents that I can get. So that transitions in. Oh no, my calendar's set. I'm going to be handing out I call it the bridge calendar. It's similar to the calendar I did last year. That just said like it had every date and had little notations of when we're doing programs. No, actually, I'm not handing that out on Thursday. On Thursday, I'm handing out the full-on brochure. And that has listing, the one I brought last time, I think, was my draft. I have fine-tuned it and it almost meets my standard. How many? Just two?
Too, and they're both named climbers.
Yeah, so you can't get them confused. Um,
Got our own Thunderdome.
so the event calendar set, but also I have to put caveat in there, like, watch the emails you sign up with, because you never know, I might add more, because like, let's be honest, I'll probably add more.
Release them onto the board.
Oh my God, her pet hair. So my collaboration. She has zero fear. She also really loves worms. She likes them as her pet. Oh, she doesn't like worms anymore. That was
Oh, that was
last
last week.
week.
Oh, okay.
Now
Sophie's done worm surgery in the past, so for me to compare.
Now, is it only when you get the advanced lessons that you tell them what to do with that magnifying glass on the top of it?
on sunny days.
We'll wait till the sun's nice and bright and sunshine outside. So we had our Dover school visit. They had quite a few hiccups towards the end of the year, and the last hiccup was that we rescheduled because we had VLA. But then the day that happened, they didn't have a bus available because towards the end of the year, Dave was having surgery. And they, they had a lot of field trips and things, so they weren't able to secure a bus for that day. So packed up my stuff and I went to them, and it was really fun. And I think that it would be fun to do something in earlier this school year next year where I do go to them so they can show me their classroom libraries, because I think that they were really excited to me to come there.
That's so nice.
So I'm there a lot
Sure.
wearing all my other hats.
Yep.
And sometimes wearing my librarian hat, so it's different. So that was really cool. And we did a Jeopardy style trivia thing. The kids got very competitive, and some of them did not feel like I was making the right judgment calls. And I had to keep reminding them they were getting no prizes. So it didn't really matter who won. But one of our categories was summer reading. So we had categories that related to just like general trivia about the library, like where is the library of things? And then a lot of questions that had to do with like activities we did throughout the visit, and then summer reading. So we like really wrapped it all up and tied a bow. And Cupcake the pumpkin, I know you guys are all on pins and needles wondering how my rotting pumpkin experiment went.
I am.
My rotting pumpkin, Cupcake had babies. So there are so many sprouts that I have put them in cups. And I will also bring in those probably Thursday to give out to kindergarten and first grade so they can continue observing pumpkin in their own homes or in their own gardens at home. In addition to, we planted a couple of them here. And then
I got a bunch of mini cupcakes.
Yeah, there's gonna be lots of mini cupcakes. And I have this picture. No, these are pumpkin cupcakes. We have a picture book called 100 Dragons and named Broccoli. And so we're gonna have it. Maybe if you had been nicer to him. Are you okay? Go wash your hands.
The other ones on the
Nope.
wall.
Yeah.
She just picks it right back.
No, the one that bit her is under my foot.
Is it actually? Who knows?
Do you want this one? That one's getting out. Andrew, okay. And then I already told you about Thursday with flip and painting. And also, since I saw you, he's over here. We went to VLA and I got to attend a bunch of different conferences, and it was cool, and I wrote them down because it's all going to go towards my certificate. But it was really awesome. I did a story time workshop and got tons of inspiration. It was really fitting because like our library explorers club is a lot of younger age kids. And so the whole point of this workshop was like, help my story time is all babies. So it was a lot of different activities that we could do that are more gross motor skills, motor planning, things like that. Activities that help them learn to cross their midline. Things that are definitely still like the things you work on that are pre-reading. Like you can't hold a book if you don't have the motor skills to do it. So it's really cool.
falling on your foot, just saying.
Um, then another one was called Subversive Librarianship, and it was about strategies you can use to make sure that the materials that people want to access are still available to them despite censorship efforts of others and policy. Um, and that was really
So
good.
basically just buy the book anyway, or?
Well, it was like how to do it in a way that like if you were going to do a pride, it's right here. I'm sorry.
Might be gone.
Like you could do a pride display with like, he was just sleeping. Like doing a bookshelf that has covers that are a rainbow
Okay,
instead of putting up a big sign that says pride.
yeah,
You know, being a part of interlibrary loans so that
make it
if
slightly more
we-
subtle.
yeah, well, like being a part of interlibrary loans so that if it's a book that our community is totally accepting of and happy to have
Yeah,
on the shelf and use, but maybe another community does it, but there's somebody there who wants you have access to receive it for them. So that's kind of it. Just kind of like how not to get like, just think outside the box to help your patrons get what they need, even if there's
also being
obstacles.
harassed or something.
Yeah. Oh, and then there was the one about the dyslexic community, which is really, this is the best cut one because it's really, I know of some community members that are eager to be better readers, but are working to overcome the obstacle that dyslexia is causing them. And so I was really excited about that one, but they didn't have as much information as I wanted. But Ellis was able to go to one that he was able to pass on to me some information about the Able Library that Vermont has access to. And I don't know if you've seen box books in the library. I have them in picture book form, and they have the audio book attached to it.
Yeah.
They make those all the way through chapter books, but they're very expensive. And so I've been hesitant to just like spend money on them, not knowing if it's actually something. But through the Able Library, I can reach out to them and they can send me several like of those style books for us just to have here to test the waters with and lend out. So we don't have to make a financial investment, but our readers can still have access. Like if there's, into higher level reading, or maybe they can't access the higher level reading, even though they're into the higher level interests, because of their disabilities. They can listen and look, like, and read like, common books that their peers are reading. So super excited about that. And then the last one was the Golden Dome Committee presentation of nominated works, which I will like 100% always go to because they give you a rundown of everything you need to know about every book that was nominated. And I do try to read a lot of them. They've read them all already, so why reinvent the wheel? So we have so many of them this year too, so it's made it easy for me to connect them with readers because I at least have a general idea what the plot is, what might be a concern to a reader, what might be a draw to a reader, and like what type of reader might be drawn to it. So that was a really good one. I loved BLA, super good. And then the last thing is we have another community request that I've been working hard to respond to. So we've had a lot of community requests for babysitting certification. And it's not something we offer. There's really not anything offered very locally. Keene was the closest I could find, Keene YMCA. And they actually do offer the course that I'm hoping we'll be able to offer. It's called Safe Sitter. And Safe Sitter does a number of different courses. They do a couple that they don't require you to get certified as one of their instructors, which in a pinch, I think that'll be okay. But ideally, I'd like to be able to offer the babysitter certification course. They have a safe at home one, which is for kids that are old enough to stay home alone, but like not necessarily supervising anyone else, but like, information and skills that they might need if they were home alone by themselves, basic first aid, what to do if I forget exactly what they've learned. Then there's a third one, that I thought was extremely interesting. And it's for grandparents who want to find out like what the most current best practices are. So like they might be first time grandparents, or they might just have they might be taking on watching their grandchild and just be interested in what the most current research is and what the best practices are for taking care of small children. Because it might have changed quite a bit since they were raising their children. I'm guessing it has.
You're not
So
supposed to
those-
beat them anymore.
Those are the three courses that I think are really awesome, specifically the sitter course. So what I did was I went ahead and submitted a grant proposal to the Rotary Club, because to become a safe sitter certified instructor is we will let you know. Thank you. There's three costs essentially. You have to have your CPR already, which I currently do not have as up to date. So that'd be like just $75. But then there's specific materials that I want to say that costs about $200, and then there's a specific instructor course that's about $250. So I put in a grant proposal to the Rotary Club to see if they would help us out with that, so that we can then be a space for children in the community to learn safety skills. And like the other thing I liked about Safe Sitter is one of the components, it's a 5.5-hour course for the Safe Sitter course to become a certified Safe Sitter. And one of the topics they talk about is payment, and like how to like negotiate your rate and like follow up on getting payment and stuff. And so that's like really good entrepreneurial advocacy stuff. They also are known for their little course is often used as the Girl Scouts troops way to get their first aid. Yeah, their badge. So like I feel like they really are tapped in to like the values that tend to be the values we're upholding here, and the skills that we would want to pass along. So I'm hoping that comes through.
What's your timing on that?
I just need to hear back from the Rotary, and then I can do the training as soon as we can pay for it.
Okay, so it's an online, or
The training will be online, yeah.
okay, so the
Yeah.
training doesn't have a date
Yeah.
on it.
And
Okay,
also, it's a one-time fee on the training.
Yep.
So like, if in a couple of years they redo it, you get to just take the new courses. Anytime there's refreshers, you have access to their portal. So basically, it's the upfront cost of training me to be a trainer. And then they, in order for like say there's like a 12-year-old who wants to take the course, we would order a like $15 booklet for each person in there. And they recommend having that buy-in of them, it costing $15 for it. But one of the things we talked about was like, we would obviously never like turn someone away if they were like, oh, that's too much,
Right.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be like shown online and here with you
No.
supervising it?
No, I have to be trained in an
Okay.
online training, and then I am training, I'm the trainer.
You're the trainer.
So
So
then-
you're getting
yeah.
You're the
certified and
babysitter
you're the
trainer.
trainer.
Yes.
Okay,
So then I learn everything that they think is necessary for someone to teach the course.
okay. And then
And then they
course is
get
not
a
online.
certification
You
and they get to
actually
work.
teach it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
do you have annual or biannual continuing anything to keep a?
They don't require it. They require you to teach one course a year to keep your
Okay.
certification.
Okay.
But like I said, like,
That's
but then,
great.
yeah, so it would
I
be,
would love to do that.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I signed up like during COVID, it was online and then she didn't do it and finish it. And
Yeah.
It
No,
disappeared.
it's like a really well laid out program, workshop style, you know what I mean? Like with like, you're covering these specific units in these intervals. Very similar to a training style training I would have gone to when I worked in childcare, and you need to go for your 1-day refresher or whatever. So I thought it was really well done. And worth it. A 5.5-hour course is like really robust for a person that age. And it does include the lunch break. And they get an official certificate, and then they also, the workbook that they would purchase is like their reference material. So for them, that's really,
So what is
Yeah.
the age for the,
I want to say it was geared towards 6th grade, like 6th grade and up, but I would assume it would be like 6th to 9th or 10th grade.
Hmm.
Because really, once you start driving, you're
Yeah.
not usually babysitting, or you've been babysitting for a while.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like 12
Um,
to 16-ish.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping also that
Yeah.
would, because we would be the only ones providing it in the local area, Wardboro, Dover.
Even Brattleboro, because we're split between them and Keene.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So in my head, I just assume we'll do it on a Saturday. I think that would make the most sense.
Yeah.
And
I'll shepherd that through. I'm on the committee. I'll shepherd that through.
so
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
like personal pitch, I think it's a value add to the community entirely, because not only does it,
Oh, I see it absolutely.
yeah,
There's no
it gives the
question, value to
teenagers a set
community.
of skill. It gives
Yep.
families access to sitters that
Yep.
are going to be affordable
Yep.
and not necessarily someone who works at a daycare already and is
Yep.
charging you their same rate.
Yeah, Corinne and I were trying to figure something out for a day.
Yeah.
Right, and it's hard
We're
to
even available.
trust a younger person.
Would you
If
be charging for the training?
So the training, in theory, it would be you sign up and it would be a $15 fee to cover your workbook. But one of the things we did, because then you have that buy-in of making sure you show up for it. But it was definitely something we did talk about, was that like we could always like scholarship if somebody was like, oh, I want to do that, but I can't swing $15, because that's a reality for some
Yeah.
people.
And then
Yeah.
the library keep a list of like, hey, these are potential babysitters for any, but
Really solid idea. We could say these are like, would you like to be added to our list of people who have attended and graduated from this course? That's a really solid idea.
Yeah, you could do that. You couldn't sort of recommend that sort of a high
Right,
risk.
we would have
but
to
you
ask
say,
each person
these are
if they
people
wanted
certified. Yep.
exactly.
At this
If you'd like to
application.
be
Yep.
a part of our directory of people who,
Yep. Have taken the course.
yes,
Guess
Boy,
you
that
could
would be
ask, you could ask them about that, like what you can do or can't do.
right, that's true.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
are, yeah,
Because it's like, yeah,
yeah.
it's tricky.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I
Awesome.
must have been spacing out, but May's coming back for the.
Oh, you know what? I think there was some ant drama happening.
Yeah. I was like, I can't
May's coming
focus.
back,
Okay.
super excited because, we actually,
she did great last summer.
yeah, she's super great last summer. And we actually, I had told her last summer, I was like, do you think you'll want to come back? So we actually brainstormed a lot of the programs I'm doing this summer were things we kind of chatted about doing last year. So she should be able to like come in and hit the ground running.
She here for the grand.
I haven't heard from her yet. We just started talking because the school just finished up. So I'm hoping that she will be able to be. But I'm not sure yet. Yeah, she hasn't had a chance to come in. And I was saying today, I was like, oh, I can't wait for May to come back. I don't want to show all these books. We'll do it. That's my whole thing.
Awesome.
Any more
Thank
ideas?
you.
Nope. Okay.
All right, now we go on to Allison.
Nah, let's do policy review first.
Oh. We'll still need Allison.
Yeah. We can start reading.
Okay,
Sorry,
we're doing the policy review.
being put to work by my new boss. We had to hide. I'm sorry I didn't get it out to you earlier. I just finished it.
It's great. You're doing great. Thank you
She's in the office.
for all of your work on the policies. Yeah.
Yeah.
It says individuals or small groups may use any available space in the library during open hours,
Yeah,
as long as the behavior adheres to the behavior.
we do get like, we have people who come for like family visits. And they'll use space in the cafeteria or in the cafe or in the kids' room.
Okay. So it's like in addition to this meeting room, it's kind of like an
Yeah.
all-encompassing
Yeah, we
policy
have,
for.
somebody from the daycare, they do a speech therapy with one of the kids in the kids' room once a week. They
Great.
were for a while, so, they're done for the summer, but.
You really have to say, Mark, only one, the question 7,
I,
yes or no.
oh.
Mark, only one.
I said it's
Because you know,
cool that-
because you know there's some people.
If somebody marks both, it's yes.
That was definitely Google's responsibility. Uh,
On the form, Ally,
mhm.
organization name is required. No contact email or contact phone number is required. That one, neither of those has the asterisk next to it. I
Oh,
would think
okay,
that-
he should,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I thought I did get that on the form, but I have the form on my other computer. I'll
Yeah.
just look
I mean,
back.
it's like they really sort of all need to be answered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for
Yeah.
the,
I would actually remove the staff organization name.
And just say that-
put it for representative and representative contact phone number. 'Cause there might not be an organization. It might be
Yeah.
somebody who
Yeah.
just wants to teach a
Yeah.
class on like how to use a cell phone.
Yeah. and in that case, they could just write none.
No.
Right.
If it's someone like me who would be like, oh my God, what do I write? I'm hired.
Yeah, that's where my mind, I would probably put my
Yeah.
name.
Was that your phone?
Yeah, it reminded me to pick up my kid.
Okay.
I think you were doing a great job with all these policies.
Well, I do
Yeah.
too.
Thank you. I think next month is something, it was the closing policy for winter weather closing policy, so that should be pretty
Yeah,
easy to look, because we looked at that last year. So,
yeah, other than what people already mentioned about like making those required,
yeah.
it's good.
Go right in and do that.
Yep.
So I have the link.
And this is going to be online?
Yes, it'll be online and you can get
You probably have some physical copies, I guess. Too.
paper copies here. Yeah.
So if it's online, I would just link it as well to the behavioral policy.
Okay. Yeah.
Just that way it's a quick link because I can just imagine someone being like, oh, I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't break it.
It's a really
Yep.
good point.
Yeah. Be like, oh yeah, you couldn't find it. Link.
everyone else.
Along that same line, maybe like if you give somebody one of these, attach a copy of the behavioral possibly too, so they, you know, it's like 100% sure that they have it and they've seen it.
Yeah.
Well,
Along that point, would it make sense to, I think you just did. Never mind. That's question 8, where you say, yes, I have read it.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And take ability.
Yeah, really very important.
We make the motion now or?
Kathy, you want to make a motion? Like, have you had your name in there?
Yes, my name's in it. Okay, I'll make a motion to accept the new policy on the meeting room use.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey,
That's
nicely
unanimous.
done. Nicely done.
Although,
All right,
Thank you. Thank you.
Go this.
last but not least, the director's report.
new
No,
business.
what?
There's nothing there except I'd ask, what about the strategic plan?
You're gonna cover that in your report, right? Or
It's not, yeah.
It's not covered in my
Oh.
report. I have not had a chance to sit down and look at my
Yeah.
calendar because
Like I
I've
say.
been
Yeah,
doing nothing but calendar stuff, just getting July and June and July up on the website and organized. Now that I am organized, it looks like I can schedule out some meetings, but like I just finished July.
right. Let's just let's keep it on our new business, like, as long as,
Yeah.
until we do it. Just to remind ourselves, I know you're so busy.
To do.
Yeah, and it was hard because people weren't committing to the right dates and so, but I think we talked about like, let's go with your schedule and the few people that you're trying to bring in from the community that really need to do it in
Yeah.
the summertime. And then if you can get Kathy and or I for some of the meetings, then that's good.
Yeah, I have a couple ideas of what dates to have it.
Great, okay.
Anything else in your business?
I don't know if this falls under new or old or whatever, but I have a question on. So last meeting, you were talking about not the summer reading program, but the discussion reading program thing that was, okay.
Yeah,
So since there is some buffer, some residual in the budget kind of built in, and I don't know what the full number would be. You said that the books would be 900 for that program.
at least.
What would the
The
remaining
total
cost be for
was
that?
gonna be, the total cost was gonna be 17.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I'm not the one who said no to it at the very end. It was Richard who was like, this is ridiculous. Let's just get it.
I just kind of wondered why, I mean, if you do have reserve and this is a 30-year ongoing, most popular program you offer,
yeah.
what, why not use some of that reserve to fund that one for the 1 year and hope that the funding comes back next year?
Yeah, I mean, I tried working with him about it. I'm not, to be completely honest, that was my estimate for how much the books would cost. All of, except for one title, so out of the 4 books, there was, only one that was actually still in print. The other 3 were all out of print. And I couldn't there was only one of them that I could get any copies through interlibrary loan, and I think it was like 2 copies of the one. So, we would have to buy books for 3 of them, and, like on Amazon, you could buy ones in okay condition for like $25.
So where would the books come from if the funding had never changed?
Yeah.
Where would the books come from?
The Vermont Humanities Council just owns reading sets of all of the books that are in their program, that were in that reading and discussion program. And I did reach out to them and say, hey, I'm going to be in Stowe, like I could shoot over to Montpelier and grab the books, and they were like, we don't even have anybody here working that can like assemble them for you to come and pick up.
So the books are there, we just
Exactly.
literally can't get our hands on them.
And I feel like it's not a great investment to spend that much money on those books that
Or one time.
for one time, and then we're gonna have to have them here too.
You said Richard was really not
He
that
is
interested in.
super enthusiastic about doing it. Last year, he wasn't super enthusiastic about doing it. He retired last
So
year.
there's more factors to canceling it than
Yeah,
just the funding.
yeah.
The person leading the thing was also a thing too.
Yeah.
I just wondered because it was very much presented as the budget from state level being cut was the only reason this wasn't going. So I just wanted to explore a little.
That was the nail in the thing.
Okay.
The budget.
So he's already been looking at pulling the
I
plug
think he
also.
for him, so he had offered to do it for 800, but that was a reduced price
Okay.
for him. He thinks he lives in like Guilford or Vernon or something, and he's not super enthusiastic about driving here either. So I think when I was like, oh, well, we can't with the books, can we look at doing different books maybe? And that just seemed like a lot of work for him for $600.
So are you researching into for future somebody else to lead them? Or, I mean, if he's
yeah.
retiring and he's,
So what
I don't know.
what I was thinking about veering into was they do a speakers bureau at the Vermont Humanities Council. So which are just like one-off programs, and they're not necessarily linked to like reading a book. So you don't have to have that book club collection. But they'll come and talk about various subjects. So there are people who will come and lecture on things related to the same thing he would have talked about, but and they still fund that. They're still funding that. So we would get their discounted price. So that would be like $200 for,
For this summer?
yeah, I'm gonna try
Great.
to get into that. That's,
So the people that were interested in that might be interested in this.
yeah, that's one of the reasons why been working so hard on the calendar, is so that I can figure out where I can put those like one-off programs. The summer's filling up.
And there's still like I think you said you're still gonna try to do like a reading group as well too.
Well, I mean, we're gonna do our book clubs that are our normal book clubs, but I don't have any more time to read any more books besides the 3 book club books that I read every month. And like that, I can't do that. That's like a whole nother,
You mean as far as leading it?
yeah,
No,
yeah.
but can someone else lead? Do we have?
I mean, if you know somebody who wants to volunteer to do that.
Or
send them
pay
my
them
way.
because we have a little bit of.
Yeah, we have a little bit of money. We can
Yeah,
pay
and
somebody.
although I know we're doing the line dancing, that's a pretty big.
Yeah,
budget, actually.
that's a big expenditure.
Mhm.
But a lot of our other programs are gonna be pretty cheap to make up for that.
Hmm.
So,
Do we know of anyone else who's done those programs other than Richard in the area that might be interested? Even if it's not that actual program,
yeah,
but someone who could lead like a really
yeah,
kind of a
like,
different level of a book.
like Deborah Lee Duncan is, local, and she works for the Vermont Humanities Council. I've had her come and do talks about stuff when I was at Petty, and she's good, and she's a writer, so she does have like a literary slant on stuff. So I'd have to look and see what programs she's presenting, but I think she's a new thing, so,
Yeah, maybe she'd be interested in
Yeah.
doing that or a book discussion.
Yeah.
It is popular with us.
yeah,
I don't know. Another thing to look into.
yeah.
Does that answer?
Yeah, I think so.
Anything else for new business? We're good. All right, we're ready for the director's report.
That's the one thing I didn't pull up at. Hmm. Okay, so, yet another good week, good month of circulation, in terms of physical objects. And then, like I said earlier, next month I'll bring, statistics that compare and contrast, about previous years, in all the different statistical categories. So the big thing is that, we had talked about maybe doing this when Ellis was out, like the staff and I had talked about it, and as we're trying to all schedule some vacation time for the summer, it's become apparent that it would be really helpful to have somebody who's trained, who could come in and do like a day if we're all at a conference, or if somebody is sick and nobody can cover for them, it would be helpful to have a person. So I would like permission to hire a substitute on an as needed basis. And we would pay for training and fingerprinting up front. So it would be like 3 or 4 hours of training and then fingerprinting. And then just be here whenever we needed, or an extra body, or he. They. They.
They are.
They.
Um,
I think it's a good idea.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because I think we should keep the library open as much as we should,
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
people expect it to be open.
Yeah.
It should be open. And having someone just to sit at the circulation desk is
Yeah.
good and keep the doors open.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do we have an idea of what the initial cost would be for the training and the fingerprinting?
So it would be how many hours times whatever pay rate we were going to pay them.
What would the pay rate, what would you be looking at?
Probably close to minimum wage. Which I don't even know what that is right now in the state of Vermont. I think, is it 15?
Maybe 17.
I'm.
no, it's like 1365 or something
Yeah.
like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't pay less than 15.
15.
I think that would be
Mm.
more than.
What are we paying for the,
1401.
I have another question too,
Is that-
I guess
Minimum wage.
maybe more for Kendra, but can May be trained a little bit on the circulation
She-
desk too? Okay,
She
great.
is,
Okay,
yeah.
good. Because I know sometimes there's like just a gap and
Yeah,
she's totally capable,
We-
so.
we've left her like, okay,
Yeah.
May, we're all gonna go get our kids now. You watch the
Right?
desk for a minute.
Yeah,
And she is more than
she's
capable.
got it.
of doing
Okay.
that. Yeah,
Well, whatever makes her comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, if she needs any more training.
yeah, she's,
Okay.
Yeah.
and she's out of school, so we're getting ready to get her back in here.
That gives a little bit of wiggle room for at least some of it.
Yeah, I mean, so
I
it
mean,
doesn't,
I wouldn't want to take May and be like, all right, great, you're here alone for, 8 hours.
yeah, no,
Like, bye, but
she
like,
doesn't open her clothes by herself or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
But sometimes if you need two
Yeah.
people or three, she
Yeah.
could be that person.
and I think it might
Well,
be
she filled in.
worthwhile just to look really hyper local, because I know, not to say anything about where you're living, or even like down in Eastover where Kendra and Ellis are, but I know like during the winter, there were
Yeah.
some complications with like trees being down along the roads and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But like, it might be worth it, just someone like that can easily
Yeah.
access.
Do you have someone in mind or are you
We do
going to
have
add?
somebody in mind who would be interested in doing.
Are they within?
They are very local,
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Right down the road.
right down the road.
That's awesome.
So, yeah,
That would be great. Yeah.
so I think
I'm all
it
in.
works for them to, just do here and there, and it works for us.
Do we need to move, vote on that, or just nod our heads?
I think we have to make a motion since it's
I move
financial
to-
decision.
I'd like to make a motion to approve a substitute on an as-needed basis.
Second,
All in favor?
aye,
Passes unanimously.
Yay.
Silent.
I was about to say, he knows I like it.
We didn't state the monetary amount
Oh,
included in the motion, and I think we should.
okay, yeah,
not to exceed $15, $16 a month, an hour, a month, yeah.
Okay, cheapskate.
No, that's why you can be a trustee.
I think $15 an hour is reasonable for a
Okay.
principal position.
Okay, to amend that,
Yep.
not to exceed $15 an hour.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously.
good catch. Good.
Yep.
Do you guys know what vacation times you'll be taking? And can you let us know that? Yeah.
Yeah, sure, I can let you know, so Kendra's taking, she's away like 4 days in June, 4 days in July, and 4 days in August. But since she's only 25 hours a week, it's not that crazy. It doesn't really cut into her hours that much. Ellis is not taking any vacation because he just was on medical leave. So, he's taken like a day off here and there. He's had a lot of weddings to attend this year so far. So, but I am going to take off the week of August 10th.
Okay.
The 10th through the 16th. It's the second week of August.
And then a lot of our programs are done by then?
Yes, and anything that I have scheduled for that week is kind of like a self-sufficient program.
Will that
So
be the week of the board meeting?
It would be.
that is the week of the board
Okay.
meeting. So that's why I mean.
So we'll just have,
We
we
might
can
have to-
reschedule that for the following week or something.
Right, yeah, we
Yeah,
might
fine.
have to move
Yeah,
it,
or the earlier.
yeah.
I won't be here, darling. We're no, third week.
Yeah, let's do it the third.
Yeah, whatever works for people, but that was unfortunately, that was my only option to take that.
And
So,
when is Kendra gone?
I
Does
had
she
a
know?
little post-it note. Oh, I have it on
Just
this.
in general, I think it is good for us to know.
Remember, I'm gonna be on vacation that second Tuesday.
Oh,
In August?
Oh,
September.
Oh, okay.
so Kendra will be out. I didn't write it on here. Well, not the same week as me in August. She's out that like the next week in August. She's out for a few days at the end of the week,
okay, but not the Tuesday.
not the Tuesday.
Okay.
Like the 17th through the 22nd each month, about that time.
Do we want to just
Have it.
preemptively move that August meeting to the third week? Does anyone have any opposition to that?
That's fine. There's
Let's do it now before anyone else is like, I'm going on vacation. Be like, no, you're not.
You know,
I have requested that day off yet for that month, so.
Yep.
Everyone's fine with August 18th.
19th.
19th.
Calendar, I'm not-
oh, 19.
You're right.
19th, yep.
I was just gonna say, we probably shouldn't actually discuss specific dates of anybody's PTO on open recorded
Oh,
meetings for
sorry.
safety and security reasons. Just
Mm.
as a reminder.
Yeah.
Good
We
call.
talk off
Yep.
recorded meetings
Sorry.
about specifics, but yeah. To put that out there for everybody else's.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody who wants to come steal stuff from my house is welcome. Clearance money is probably better than the stuff that I have.
Noted.
And that is on the recording. Open invitation.
Half of our doors don't lock, so.
Let me know which one.
We're gonna have a dog sitter at our house, so. You have to get by her first.
By the dog, never mind the dog sitter, right?
Oh, the dog would be like, hi,
Oh.
come in,
Oh,
take my things, give me a treat.
Dog will go get the things. for
Yeah.
you.
But as of right now, in general, you guys have it covered for the summer.
Yeah.
We don't really need. to-
Yeah, unless like we have some like super weird day that, you
Okay.
know, pops up, as that I can tell right now, we have no days that we have coverage for.
Great.
All right.
Just curious, our attendance, like, what is it like versus like last year? Like, are we in good attendance,
Yes.
circulation, all good, looking good? I can't remember what
Yeah.
other numbers have been.
So
So,
like off the top of my head, I don't remember either, but circulation is way up.
great. Great. That's what we want to see.
Yeah. Yep.
What does circulation include? Is it Hoopla and all the audio books?
It's just physical items from the library.
Okay,
So it
not
includes-
counting people, but just counting
Well-
what's taken out of the,
yes, yeah.
okay.
I mean, if we had a person that you could check out.
Well, we have the attendance.
How many numbers of people that are coming?
Yeah,
in?
no, that's the
Yeah.
attendance. Yeah. So
We were talking about
circulation,
circulation.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the physical items that get checked out through the library catalog.
Okay.
Circulation is those 418 people walking around the library.
Taking out 2 books each.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
it.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yesterday I spoke with Lauren Herkwick and she's writing an article for the Deerfield Valley News about the drag story time, and that will be coming out in this week's paper. She also spoke to, she's also speaking to Emoji Nightmare. And I think some other people, I don't know.
Great.
Good. Yep, had a nice phone call with her yesterday. I went to Nell's in May at the Von Trapp Lodge. If you have not been there, I recommend it.
Gorgeous.
It was gorgeous. I felt like running around singing, like I was in The Sound of Music. Yeah. Yeah. Um, we learned beyond what we learned in the workshops. I got to meet some people from some really interesting libraries in New England. Like, and I loved the people who are like, "Oh, I'm just from a small library. We just have like 5,000 people, like patrons." And I was like, "Oh, we don't even have that many people in our town."
That's right. Maybe on a good winter afternoon, yeah.
Right. So there was only one other person from Vermont there, which I was surprised at. I thought there would be
Wow.
more.
Wow.
But they did all of their choosing blindly. They didn't look to see where you were from beyond that you were from one of the member states. So it was kind of just random.
That's right, 'cause that's the one that you had to apply for and
Yeah.
recommendations, the whole bit.
And I had it
Yeah.
like you couldn't write what your name and
Yep.
in the application or anything. It was all blind.
Mm.
It was funny, one of the women who ran it, somebody from her library was there and she didn't know that she was going to be
Yep.
there until the day. So we were assigned peer mentors. So I have a woman in Rhode Island that I'm partnered with, and we're supposed to talk to each other.
Are you sort of mentoring each other? Is it
Yeah.
sort of peer mentor?
Yeah,
thing?
like
Okay.
check in, how's it going? Are you having problems with
Yep.
anything?
We are in Rhode Island.
It's a very good question. There were,
It's just one big town, okay?
there's somebody from not Providence, but like,
Pawtucket,
no, is there like a West Providence or something?
East Providence.
East Providence.
Ooh.
Somebody from East Providence. Somebody from Cranston, which I was very excited about because I know Angela's. Yeah, is from Cranston. And I was like, do you know Angela? She's like 25, this girl. And then somebody from another line.
Bristol. It's a big place.
I don't remember.
Well,
Somebody was from RISD.
Hmm.
It was a
That's East Providence. too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was somebody from Yale there, somebody from the Dartmouth Library.
Wow.
So it was interesting. We had academic
Yeah.
librarians and public librarians and all different walks of life.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And they had a consultant there she was really interesting. I've never been to a workshop that went so like on time and well scheduled and laid out. So you could tell she was really good at what she did. So I have a whole folder of information that I came back with, which I'll be continuing to use. And then we also have to do a project. And as I was writing this, I couldn't remember all the different ways that you present it, but you could present at NELA is one of the options. You could do a video. I can't remember what the other ones are still. But there were a different variety of different ways to present it. But you also had to do like the program in your library. So, and it didn't necessarily have to be like a program. It could be creating a service or, maybe redesigning something in the library. Mine, I think, is going to be that the What Do You Love series that I'm hoping to start working on soon, as soon as I get 5 minutes to think about it. That's my project, is trying to tie in those one-word responses that people have given on the counters into like programming and short videos on social media about resources that the library has that can tie back to them, and trying to show that the library is more than just like, oh, do you like frogs? You can come in and get a book about frogs. Like, you could also come in and check out the bug catcher and catch bugs to feed to frogs, and do a program on.
The disc golf disc golf.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun. Somebody should go and write disc golf and put it in the bowl so I can take a video of me opening up and showing. So that is, I think, is going to be my project.
Can you bring that outside of the library to try to pull people in? Like, what do you love? I don't know where or
Well,
whatever.
that's like a man on the street sort of thing.
Yeah,
That would be interesting. I'm gonna write that down. That's a good idea.
I'm not really sure where yet, but like,
Go to D-Bags.
the coffee shop.
For research purposes.
Yeah.
Town meeting,
Right?
town meeting if you want to keep it, going there. Maybe we can
7-Eleven.
brainstorm on that, but
Yeah,
because you got the library people, but you want to bring people in.
right, yeah,
We want some new customers. Get them.
yeah.
I love the idea. I already wrote a few things.
I
I hope they happen.
I have to say, I'm so happy about the number of responses that are like my mom and dad. My family, that was really heartwarming that there's a lot of them. I mean, I can't
So
really
maybe
do
we do some
anything.
family things. Sure, you
Yeah,
can.
like
Sure.
these are things you can do with your family at the library.
Yeah.
Could be fun, or books about, your mom, your dad, or books about like parenting and ancestry stuff. Yeah.
Or bring your grandparents to the library day or something.
Yeah.
Do that at school. Bring your special person with you. Or
My kids' school doesn't do your special person, and I love that Dover does that because the kids get so excited about having
Yeah,
a
they
special
do.
person.
Yep.
And Emery was really mad. She was like, how come my grandparents aren't going to special person day? And I said, because it doesn't happen at your school. And she just couldn't get her head around the fact that she couldn't bring her grandparents to school with her. So just mad.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, that's great.
yeah, that's my project and hopefully my big idea that I can run with for this summer.
Sounds like everybody's time was well spent with those.
Yeah, the BLA was great. I loved the book merchandising and growing community and cucumbers. That Waterford Public Library presented that, the director and the youth librarian from there. They have a public gardening space, I'm not describing
Community garden.
community garden. And their community garden is like right next door to their library,
Wow.
which is so special and nice, and I'm jealous. Of course, after Irene, they had to like tear everything down and restart. So they got to plan that sort of thing. But it was all about what they did in their garden. And it was much more about like how the community tied into it than it was about what they grew. So that was fun. And I have like 2 pages of ideas from that. And I came out and telling Kendra all these things about what she should do in the garden. The thing that I love most that Waterbury has around their garden is that they have an A to Z garden, and each letter of the alphabet is represented by a plant.
Oh, cool.
Like, so, there's azalea there, for every letter they have a plant. So I thought that was really cool. I would love to do that, but
Yeah, that sounds fun.
might have to clone myself if I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Ellis and I both went to the merchandising workshop, the book merchandising workshop. And he's taken a lot from that. He's working, we've talked about different things that we took back from that, and both of us kind of keyed in on the same few ideas. I have to share that the keynote speaker was a person who is going around. They are a academic librarian at UVM, and they are going to their goal is to crochet in every library in the state. So they're from up north, but so they haven't been down here yet, and we're really anxious. I think their name is Hannah. We're really anxious for them to come here and visit us. And we saw Their talk was great about all of the libraries and showed pictures of all of the libraries that they visited. Um, and special things about libraries. Some of them were really funny. Like, there's a lot of taxidermy in Vermont libraries. Did you know that? I didn't. A
Really?
lot of dead animals.
We
hanging out on
are
the walls.
Okay.
really lacking.
So more dead animals.
You got a big white wall there, yeah.
I'm
I am very upset, and so Kendra and Els are on the. I'm like, see a dead animal, buy it and bring it. And we want taxidermy mice. That's our.
oh my god.
Find taxidermy mice. to
Unless
put
reading a
in
book,
their things. Yeah.
Oh
So
no.
if anybody's in an antique store, flea market.
We'll keep an eye.
Awful taxidermy.
Well, your husband, I know he's good at finding things like that. That's our new goal.
Oh, God. Oh.
So yeah, so that was fun.
So will she give you a heads up that she's coming?
Yeah,
Part-time, like, and
sometimes.
so could you like get that in the newspaper, you know, like with a picture, and that would be pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I noticed the picture got in and it looks great. It's like a really nice spot.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, Sarah Shippey's working at the paper now, or
Oh,
yeah.
I think she's probably out because she just had her like whole leg replaced or
Yeah.
something. But she's yeah, she's working there, so she'll text me and be like, what about this picture? Where's the description? What do you know? It's
Great.
she's very communicative about that. So in terms of programming, I've been up to my eyeballs trying to get everything set because I want to be able to send out things that say, here is our programming for the entire summer. And but we keep adding things.
I guess you could say that here,
Yeah.
programming, please, you know, check
Check
back
back, yeah.
because we're always adding new things.
Yeah.
It's great.
The container gardening program went really well. I was really pleased. We had 8 people attend.
I saw her at the flea market.
Oh, yeah. I thought 8 people for that was a good turnout. So I'm happy with that. She helped me schedule the invasive plants and then the gardening tool program in September. And I'm trying to get us a garden tool lending library. So as soon as I can figure out how to fund that, I'm in. The upcoming summer programs, I tried to break it down by things that have happened and things that will happen. The lunchtime walking club is going really well. There's 4 of us that walk every single week. And then, you know, sometimes we have 2 extra, 1 extra, but we have a core group of people that come and walk.
Where do you typically go?
So usually we just do the flat area on the Valley Trail. We start at Horace Hill.
Yep.
And then walk down to the town office, turn around, walk down to Dots, turn around and end at Horace Hill. However, last week it was really hot and sunny. And so we were like, let's walk up into the woods in Horace Hill. So we did some of the trails in
Yeah.
Horace Hill and it was really nice.
It's nice out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
it is.
And then we did the flat part too. We went to Dots and back too, just for fun. But yeah, Horace Hill is a great resource. And I did reach out to somebody about doing a disc golf session. I haven't heard back yet, but my husband's very excited about it and is working on it.
Oh, good, because that would be great.
Coordinated.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're still doing yoga with Jenna, at Town on Fridays. That has another core group of people that come every week and enjoy it. We have yarn lovers will continue through the summer. Mahjong, we're moving to just the 1st and 3rd Thursdays during the summer. That will free up. We have a lot of people who aren't interested in staying inside in the summer, and I don't blame them. So, but that will also free up Kathy. That'll free up 2 Thursdays a month for other programming too. So the book to movie club, we're moving it from a Tuesday night to a Thursday night because we're going to use that Tuesday night for something else. Book club will stay on the 2nd Wednesday during the day. So at 1 o'clock. new repeating programs, we're gonna do line dancing Mondays at 6 PM for July and August. So that will be fun. I did book, the hall for the week of Blueberry Week, so that if we have a whole bunch of people attending, we can also go over there and do it there. And if it gets big, we can just use the hall.
For the,
Line dancing.
okay, yeah,
Um,
or maybe as a special have it there. That
Yeah.
week is fun.
and nobody uses it at Monday,
Yeah.
on Monday night.
We'll see if John wants to do it. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. And then sign language class, somebody had brought, this is another one of those community requests that somebody brought in, like line dancing. So sign language class is gonna be Tuesdays at 6 PM. I looked into having like some interactive web thing that was really expensive. And then I looked at our Udemy subscription that we have through the state. It's one of those Vermont online library items that we get. And they have a very similar program. So it's completely free for us to use here. The only cost, we're making registration required because the only cost is going to be printing out the booklets. They give you a PDF so you can print it out. It's not copyrighted. And it's 113 pages. So if somebody wants to do it, they have to come in. If I'm gonna print out that, if I'm gonna kill that many trees, I need some sort of commitment.
So who's leading it and is it all gonna be online?
So
that
it's
you're doing
all
it?
online, so we'll all come in and we'll sit down and we'll watch it on the screen together. Their class, like the videos are online. We watch the video. We have the book that goes with it. And then it's also available. So like if you want to come, but you're on vacation one week, you can also log into it and watch one episode, one class. And so you don't fall behind the rest of the group. So that,
And
and
so you're leading it. You're leading.
yeah, I'm gonna be like, come in,
Yeah.
sit down, I'm turning on the video.
I was gonna say, you want me,
If you,
do you want me to come every Tuesday?
if you
That-
want,
That's I mean, one of my many weird degrees that I have is a certification in ASL.
yeah.
So I can come and help you with just
Yeah.
hand positions.
you
I'm
want.
not trained to teach it.
I don't want to make you, I know you. are
No,
very
I
busy person. I don't want to make
I
you.
want
commit.
to teach people ASL because I
Okay.
love language. It's
Hmm.
beautiful.
Okay,
So
awesome.
that'd
So
be
Laura's gonna,
I'm not going to lead it. I will help you.
she's gonna be there to be
Yeah.
our expert, our resident.
It'd be great
expert.
to promote these things a
I-
little bit
yes.
more. So, because I'd love to see people actually
Yeah,
coming and not miss out on it,
I mean,
you know?
we just put out the schedule
Yeah.
Saturday online, and
Yeah.
so we're working. Ellis was in this morning putting all of Kendra's events on Facebook, so
Hmm.
little does he know when he's done with that.
And
he'll
you-
be doing it
And you're
too.
gonna do an ad, obviously, but also
Yeah.
like the community notes, like it's. I
Yeah,
would love to see it in
forum.
there.
I've started putting stuff on Front Porch Forum.
But like in
I think
addition to the, like a little like blurb, these are the
Oh, in the
activities coming up and. you
Yeah.
know,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
In
With
terms
like-
of the sign language class, just throwing it out there, one of the big things with sign language in terms of learning it, nobody can talk during the class. You cannot use your voice.
Okay.
You have to, so if we can kind of encourage that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like the one to be like, asshole, be like, this is a voice.
I'm a
But-
librarian. I have a degree in shushing people.
Okay. Because what people tend to do is they'll be like, they'll sit there, they'll be like, my favorite color. And you'll sit there and you'll be like, no, like you have to pretend like you can't hear what someone else is saying.
That's good to know, because I don't think, I didn't.
Yeah.
So the, upcoming like special things that we have that are in stone, so we're doing a craft night, in June. We're making fuse bead garden markers,
Fused.
like perler beads, the ones you iron
Oh.
and they melt together. I bought mini ones. They're very tiny, and I just did a video on how to make one, and as I was moving it to iron it, I I messed the whole thing up, so I have to start over again. Invasive plants is July 10th. Over Book Club will be meeting in July and discussing the peculiar garden of Harriet Hunt. And if you would like to join us, there are books available here. It's a Friday afternoon, evening.
Yeah.
Needle felting wool patches with pop art. That's the same company that we've had do the other needle felting classes that we've had here. They're great. She comes, she brings all of the supplies. They're already pre-packaged for everybody. Has a video. She's an art teacher at a school.
Oh, cool.
At a high school. So she's
Oh, super cool.
she's very good at teaching art, and she teaches us all the, so the wool patches, you can sew them onto your clothes or bags or whatever. They look fun. The dessert social we have set for July 30th at 6 p.m.
Wait, I'm sorry, when is the needle felting?
Oh, I didn't write the date. It is July 23rd. And you do need to sign up in advance for that if you want to go.
It's inventory day at Home Depot.
Senseffi.
You know, in Isabel will be a camp. I'm like, shit, that.
They do actually have an age limit on it because it's because of the needles. They don't want younger kids, but it's like a teen.
Steffi's tall.
She's touched.
That people know when we put advertising.
It's sure for
30.
You make it
Yeah.
work.
So we're doing the dessert social. It's Allegra and the it left me.
I love her band.
Allegra Larson and her guitarist will be. So that we're starting to work on all of the advertising for that and get it out to all the blueberry stuff. And then August 6th, we're doing tie dyeing for adults.
The July 30th one, is that the same as the competition they had? And so that's at Town Hall.
It's at Town Hall, the hall's booked, musicians booked.
Right.
All we need are the desserts and the social.
Nice. And it's all gonna be, you guys are doing like the rainbow dessert thing.
Yes, I haven't yet figured out how the categories are going to
You
be,
need
but
judges
it
too,
is,
right?
I'm
You
sorry.
still need judges too, right?
Yes, we need judges.
Are the judges children of the gender? Because I will judge it.
Of course. Well, we'll see. We'll
Okay.
see. I can't make any commitments right this second. But yes, there will be a competition again. I'm working on that's one of the things that like the three of us sit down and brainstorm about how we want to do everything, because Kendra and Alice have great ideas and stuff like that. And we're adding more, it seems like all the time. So
Have you heard anything of the canning program you talked about?
she's in, we just have to set a date. It's gonna be at the end of the tail end of August. So that it's.
A canning program?
Yeah.
Pressure canning or boil canning?
Boil canning,
And
pressure canning.
is Silent Book Club gonna be a thing?
I'm sorry.
Silent Book Club?
As soon as we have a place to do it, it will
Right,
be a
that
thing
thing,
again.
yeah, that's all right. I'll take a break for the summer.
Yeah, One Mountain
Yeah.
has as soon as they get their liquor license.
They said they got
They did?
that. I mean, they have a sign saying that they're serving dinner and everything like that. I know they were waiting on serving dinner until they had their liquor license.
I gotta reach out. Yeah, okay.
I went there for breakfast and I saw the sign. I was like, not for the liquor license. Yes, for food. Now it'll sound like you guys are good.
Yeah, and we got the garden beds planted. They look really nice, and we didn't even have to argue with David about the placement, so.
Nice.
And they did say that they are anticipating that they're going to, I don't have any firm information about it. They are anticipating that they're gonna dig the pipes for the new well this summer. So, I don't know dates. I don't know any specifics. I asked, they don't have them. So they're waiting on the state to get back to them about all of the, all the permits, applications that have been put in, but they're waiting to do that. It sounds like they're gonna go from this end of the building down Holland Road. So, the front of the building shouldn't be torn up, which is weird to me because all the water stuff is in the front of the building, but you know, I'm not an engineer. So I don't know how it's gonna work. But that's what I know about
Yeah.
that so far.
Anyone else have any questions for Al?
No.
A report?
You guys do stay busy.
Yeah, that sounds like a great lineup. I'm
Wow.
very excited. It's really great. Great job to
you.
all of you guys. Yep.
All right, who wants to close the meeting up?
I will make a motion to close the meeting at 3:11.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
All right, meeting adjourned.
All right.
Great.
Good job.
3:12, 3:11.
You-
Let me,
Have it down.
Zoom. 40.